larger than life. He'll give you strife. He's Todd. He's tall, he's mean, he's labeling machine. He's Todd. Rides a motorbike, he'll tell you what it's like. He's Todd. Don't know what he'll say, he'll scare the kids away. He's Todd. He's Todd.
Happy frickin' Thursday. Appreciate y'all showing up. So as you can still see, I haven't decided what to do with the office / studio. And so I want to thank Kate again. This is actually pretty cool. A lot of people, when they saw this last episode, thought it was a virtual background, but it's actually a nice big, well, it could be used as a blanket when I get kicked out of the bedroom. But anyway, nonetheless, thanks, Kate. I appreciate that. I actually got a couple of them, so I'm going to try switch them out every week and so forth and whatnot. But it's going to be a hot one here today. I don't know where y'all are, but they're talking about upper 90s out here. And I purposely shut off the air back here because it's very loud. And so you're going to see me sweat. And it's not because I'm under any pressure. I love pressure, but it's because it's damn hot. So anyway, couple things to share. We had a BS with Todd road trip to Colorado. I'm actually going to share a couple of pictures with that. As most of you know, I had back surgery 5 weeks ago, and it did not go good at all. It did not go good. Can't feel my feet, but yet they hurt like hell. And so they're actually going back in next Tuesday. So we'll see what happens there. I should take a couple of days off. Or I will take a couple of days off, but he's going to go back in and see what they can do. But my last hurrah was actually to Colorado. We had a family get together / working vacation. And let me see if this works. I got a couple of photos of the vacation, and I'm going to share my screen right here, and then we're going to talk some tape. All right, so let's go. How do I share my damn? Here it is right here. So anyway, we'll share this, and hopefully y'all can see this. So anyway, as y'all know, I had the back surgery, all right, and we happened to go to a Walmart for some supplies, some camping supplies. We went down to Larkspur, Colorado, and so this is the second time. I've never been in something like this before. It was actually pretty fun, and I sent this out to the team, and people asked what I'm doing in the kiddies aisle, and I'll show you in a minute. But anyway, I had a good time on this thing, so that was pretty cool. I got over my embarrassment, but yeah, that worked out pretty well. Let's see, what's the other one here? Hang on a second, and I found a couple of, where is it? Found a couple of random kids. Just come on over. And, again, I just out to the team, and they're like, who are these kids? I said, I don't know. Their mom came screaming right after this picture was taken, looking for her kids, and the surprise, the look on her face. Actually, these are my grandkids. But anyway, it was good to spend some time with them. So we ended up staying at Jellystone Park. There is actually Jellystone Parks out there with Yogi and Boo Boo and the Rangers and the whole 9 yards. And so I bumped into Yogi. I bumped into a celebrity. And let's put it this way. Yogi likes to tip him back. All right. I can't make this stuff up. All right. Yogi likes to tip him back. And I got a picture here of him actually filling his picnic basket right before me and Yogi went out and had a good time. You can't make this stuff up. So anyway, I actually joined because I'm taking the picture, but I actually joined Yogi right after this picture was taken, and here's the end results. I can tell you some really good stories, but chances are you won't believe them. Here is This is after we went through the picnic basket. And then here's one before. Where is it here? This is a good one. Go right there. So there's Yogi, and you know what? He's always got the same look on his face. You can't tell that Yogi's been tipping him back. So anyway, we had a great time at Jellystone Park. My son was there. Speaking of my son is actually watching today from Gray Bar in Phoenix. He is a recent new hire, and he's doing quite well. So congratulations to Justin. But I saw him in Colorado. I saw Sam. And those who watch know that I talk about Sam all the time, and man, he's looking old. Just, just really old. My wife went with me. All right, so that was a good trip. Anyway, we had a great time. I think there was like 19 of us out there, and that Jellystone and Yogi will never be the same. So anyway, tapes. We want to talk about tapes, and the reason why we wanted to rehash this, and there's a lot of episodes out there that I've done on tapes, and I'm going to show you how to get to those episodes here in a minute. But tapes, as far as I'm concerned, is probably the most important part of the job. Going back to when I used to work for a living as a contractor, it was very infuriating to get a call from an IT director. A facilities guy, you get that dreaded phone call that your tapes are coming off, or your tapes are fading, all right, due to UV, some of the lighting in there. And so, I had to send my guys back there on my own dime, and I'm not a big fan of that. So anyway, we're going to talk about using the right tape for the environment today. So our tapes, and I'm going to kind of go through no particular order because I didn't prepare for the show. Hell, I only woke up about 28 minutes ago. So, right, Kate? Kate says, she texts me. She goes, "Hey, where the hell are you?" Kate actually said that. And my clock is, as I found out, about 4 minutes behind on my computer versus actual time. So anyway, this is all unprepared. As you all know, all of my shows are very unprepared, and I think that's the beauty of this. But anyway, our tapes come in a cassette system. Now we're talking about, we have other different types of media available. But what we're talking about today are these tapes that fit inside of our handhelds and our desktops. Every tape, except for a few exceptions, is 26.2 feet of tape. It's a marathon of tape, if you will. So there's quite a bit of tape on there, which means that you're going to get more labels, more bang for your buck, if you will. All right. And so one of the secrets to art in these cassettes is this, and I'm going to try and pull this there and so you guys can see it. But what I'm actually doing is pulling out the laminate. Can you see that? Can you see that laminate? And that is what makes us so special. All right, is that it's going to be scratch resistant, scuff resistant, fade resistant, oil resistant, caustic resistant, fade resistant. I think I mentioned that. Water resistant, rated up to 225 degrees and 80 below zero. So we are a laminated tape. The two tapes that are not laminated are going to be our heat shrink and our super narrow tape, and we'll talk about that in a second as well. All right, so the lamination process on the tapes, again, it means for a very tough tape. But every now and then I'll get a call from a contractor or end user saying, "Hey, SOB," lovingly, "my tapes are coming off. My tapes are falling off." And a lot of times I love when it's a end user that I've gone through the process and they're not listening. All right. So, the thing is that's why I'm here today, because you don't want those tapes coming off. And if you listen to me, they're not going to come off until you physically peel them off. And I've got some videos out there that show me putting our labels in a microwave and taking a torch to it and taking a sander to it and put it on the tailpipe of my truck and the window of my truck and driving my truck through a car wash. And I've got all sorts of videos, but what it proves is it's a tough tape. So if you use the right tape the first time, it's not going to come off until you peel it off. All right. So that part is very important. As far as the different types of tape we have, there are a bunch. Any TZE tape, here's an empty package. Actually, this is one of our most popular tapes right here. It is the TZE 221. All right. The TZE 221 and any TZE tape is going to come in a clam shell. These are made for smooth, flat surfaces. And if you take a TZE tape or one of our HGE tapes, and I'll talk about that in a second too, but if you take this and you try and wrap it around a cable or make a flag, I guarantee it's going to come off. I guarantee you, right? And so that's why when these contractors call and they start, dog cussing me, I'll remind them of the conversation I had about using the right tape. And 99.9999% of the time, I win, which is always a good thing. So anyway, do not use any TZE tapes on curved surfaces, flags, or cable wraps, because it will come off. And again, it's very easily identified because it's in a clamshell. All right. Now let's hypothetically say, like I said, the TZE tape is for a smooth, flat surface. All right. Let's hypothetically say that you have a surface that is powder coated or a rough surface. Hell, even a small. All right. You want to use our S tape, TZES. And again, it's really identified in a red packet. Now, the reason why you want to use this is that it's got a softer adhesive. It's the same tape as this, right? But it's got a softer adhesive. And what it does is it gets inside those micro nooks and crannies. Wasn't there an English muffin out there way back when? Gotta remember the commercial about the nooks and crannies. Anyway, don't think of us as a English muffin. Well, hell, you may want to, but anyway, nonetheless, is that the softer adhesive gets inside. And by the way, if you hear a tractor, it doesn't matter. Any Thursday, nothing could be happening all damn week long. But as soon as I turn this camera on, somebody turns on their tractor or pressure or something like that. So it's just par for the course. So hopefully that doesn't distract you any more than I'm distracting you right now. So the third type of tape. The third type of tape, very easily identified with a nice little picture there. See the picture of the cable wrap and the flag? Well, that's because this is our TZE FX tape, or flexible tape. By the way, if somebody can tell me, even in Brotherland out there, what the S stands for. So again, TZE tape, TZES. How the hell does S fit into extra strength? I know there's an S in there, an extra strength, isn't there? Yeah, of course there is. But anyway, strength. Kate says strength. All right. Pure genius. S for strength. How about an TZEES? I don't know. Anyway, thanks, Kate. Appreciate it. So anyway, TZES, and then we go on to the TZEFX. A little more identifiable in the blue packet right here. All right. Bob, thanks. Bob Cobb out there. Strong adhesive. Well, then it'd be an SA, wouldn't it, Bob Cobb? So anyway, again, it's an argumentative point. So anyway, back onto the FX tape. The FX tape is made for round and curved surfaces, right? It's specifically for cable wraps and flags. And again, very easily identifiable, not only by the blue packet, by the pretty little pictures that we put on here. All right, and then the definition as well. So the TZEFX. Now, in a pinch, can you use the TZEX for a flat surface? You betcha you can. But this doesn't go both ways. All right, this only goes one way. This tape goes both ways. So again, but primarily for flags and for surfaces and cable wraps. All right. Another real popular tape right now that we're starting to sell quite a bit more of for security reasons is our tamper evident tape. Tamper tape right there, right? And again, you can see clearly identifiable. So the tamper evident tape is the same type of cassette as this, but it's meant specifically to catch those folks who like to go around and peel labels off. And hopefully you got a security camera on them as well, right? But the whole idea behind this particular tape right here is that if you put it on a device, so a lot of schools, out of the, if you will, use these things to put on the back of laptops and to put on all these other things they're giving these kids to learn today, tablets and whatnot. I just got a call yesterday from California Highway Patrol, and I didn't answer it the first time. I called them back a little bit later, and this is a purchasing agent with the California Highway Patrol that was looking for kind of the same thing. They wanted them on the radios. They want to put them on just about everything. And what happens is when you peel that tape off, it leaves a checkerboard pattern telling the IT person that it's been monkeyed with, right? And you also, it will not stick back to itself. So that is our tamper evident tape right there. Okay. Sizes of tapes. All right. So the sizes go anywhere from 9/64. Yes, we'll talk about that in a second. All the way up to 36 millimeters, which is roughly an inch and a half. Okay. Not all type tapes come in the different sizes. All right. But check with your local brother representative. Back to the 9/64 tape. All right. It is a TZE tape. It's a TZE N201. It is meant for a smooth, flat surface. It is non-laminated. This is actually designed for compact disc sleeves, right? And all this old farts out there, remember compact disc. That's pretty sad. That was only a couple of years ago. But it was meant to basically, after you burned a disc, to label the compact disc spline. All right, and we discovered that this is actually the best tape to use for a high density patch panel. I still see to this day when I'm on the road, people taking a 1/4 inch tape or a 3/8 inch tape, and they're cutting the top off, cutting the bottom off to fit in these new high density patch panels, which you only have about that much room to label on. So there's no cutting involved. You can print your patch panel schedule on this, and then again, it saves you a lot of time, and obviously time is money. But the 9/64 is a tape, and great for any patch panel that needs that has a smaller labeling area. All right. So brothers also come up with several other tapes. All right, and I'll show you some stuff here in a second. In fact, you know what? What the hell? I'll show it to you right now as I explain it. So where did I put that? And let's see. Let's go into here. All right, and I'll go to. All right, Kate, are we back there? Am I supposed to? Was I sharing my screen the whole damn time? Good Lord! I think Kate, are you in the back controlling how I'm sharing? Thanks, Kate. Then I'll keep that on. All right. So here you can see we came up with a couple of different types of tape. We came out with a self-laminating tape. Now, if you take a look at this type of tape, right, you will see 26.2 feet of tape. Right. It basically repeats that identifier 4 or 5 times. So when you wrap it around the cable, you can see it from any angle. All right. And I'm going to zoom in on this. Let's do 75%. Yeah, nah, what the hell? You know what? Let's do 100%. There we go. All right. But we have jobs out there. And again, when I was growing up in this industry, you could see the industry has been pretty good to me so far. So anyway, when I started in the industry, self-laminating tape was a tape designed with a small little white printable area. Well, you can see right up here, all right, where that small little white printable area, and then it's followed by a clear pigtail that you wrap around there. And the reason being is that we all printed these things out on inkjet printer, and that ink tended to smear, all right? And so I am not a fan of the self-laminating tape. Not a fan at all. And the reason why I'm not a fan of that is because it takes extra labor to put that in the upright position. You can see in that graphic I have, it's in the upright position, right? You're going to be able to see the identifier. Now, if that were turned a little to the left or a little to the right, you wouldn't have the symmetry. Symmetry, man, that's another big word for it. But anyway, you wouldn't have that symmetry, and you'd see just clear. And what a lot of the techs will do is they'll reach in and they'll turn that a little bit to see the identifier. But that may screw up your termination, and you may have a node workstation that goes down. So anyway, the reason why brother came out with this is basically to just keep up with the Joneses, if you will. And there's a lot of jobs out there, that existing jobs that have the self-laminating tape, and we get calls all the time saying, hey, you know, the owner, right? The end user wants to keep everything status quo. And for many, many years, in fact, 9 years, 8 years, we weren't able to do that. So this is a cassette system. This is also a 26.2 feet of tape. All right. And the beautiful thing about this is that you can set the width, right, on this tape, whereas a regular self-laminating label comes in either a 8.5 by 11 or a 4-inch, and you have to buy different widths of this, right? So you've got 2, 3, 4, 5 SKUs. You could have one that's a 1/2 inch width, 3/4 inch, and a 1 inch. Well, basically, you can set the width on this, and again, it has that small printable area followed by the clear tail, but it comes in a cassette system. So where applicable, all right, if the spec calls for a self-laminating tape, I always challenge these specs. Are a laminated tape, just like there's our lamination. We're a laminated. So I have a lot of, I spend a lot of time explaining to these consultants and GCs about our better system. But if they absolutely are going to dig their heels in and they want a traditional self-laminating tape, we have that now. All right. So if you got any questions upon or about that one, please reach out and let me know. But brother does have self-laminating tape right now. Will we be coming out with 8.5 by 11? Probably not. That's kind of old school. Everyone's using the 4-inch machines right now. So stay tuned. You never know. Stay tuned. We have the machine. All right. Stay tuned on that. So anyway, the next one we have is our FLE, our flag. All right. I am no fan of flags. Not a fan. Don't like the flags. And the reason being is they're tough to put on. All right. It's an example, and I always use this example, is that you have to mirror them up like this, right? And if they're a little bit off, guess what? You're exposing adhesive, and it looks like crap, right? They're very labor intensive, these flags. And at the end of the day, you get a bunch of flags together, and if a flag is bent, then you can't identify it. So again, in goes the hand to move that little flag to see what that identifier is. So I'm not a fan of them. And flags are typically used on fiber, right? I see flags, a lot of flags on power, right? But again, if you don't have to use the flags, reach out to me. I can offer you a better solution. So our new FLE, I like that because it's a 2-part system. And that flag, just like this tape, goes both ways, right? And so you can either do, as you can see under the FLE flag there, you can see you can go horizontal, but you can also go vertical. And the way it works is, as a system, right, is a small little tag that you take off first, that you wrap around the cable. Then you take the actual flag and you pinch it, right? You know, I had an example. I can't say it, though. I'm not going to say it. I'll probably get in trouble. But anyway, you just pinch it onto that little piece, right? What is you all hearing some strange noises? Anyway, oh, it's my Sonos. All right, it's going off over here. Anyway, so the new flag is available. And what I like about the new flag, number one, it looks a lot cleaner. Number two is that when you get a lot of them together, because it's a very rigid, right? They don't bend and they don't crinkle, and it's very easy to identify, right? Number two, the labor to put these things on. It takes about half the time as peeling off, you know, a traditional label, backing off a traditional label, and then getting your dirt paws all over the adhesive, and then trying to fold that again where it's you know, there's exposed, right? So check out that flag, right? You folks out there that are specing this stuff in, and you contractors out there, again, about half the labor. And if you're doing a lot of these flags, that's a lot of money being saved, right? So keep that in mind as well. Now, what else? Let's talk about, I'm going to close current tab. What else we got here? Okay, the heat shrink. So I have heat shrink available. The heat shrink comes in a cassette system, just like this. It's just under 5 feet of heat shrink, right? 1 shrink ratio, right? It prints off as a flat tube. You slide it over, you heat it up, and you're done. But I tell you where we're making a lot of headway specifically is in data centers with this fiber. it's an alternative tag. And when I'm out there, my gospel, the gospel of Todd, I always give alternatives, and I go through the motions of the flags and so forth and whatnot. But at the end of the day, you have something sticking out, and it just, again, I'm not a fan of it. So the heat shrink is an alternative, and specifically on fiber applications or small OD wiring cable, because what you can do is you can slide that on prior to termination, and you don't shrink it. Leave it loose tube. Right, you got a nice professionally printed heat shrink that you can actually move up and down. If you have to re-terminate, you don't have to label, just slide that thing back. So again, it's a great alternative to flags. If you actually need the shrinkability, the shrinkism, then go ahead and do so. 2-to-1 shrink ratio on that. So again, the heat shrink, I don't have any heat shrink right now, but it comes in an orange package like this. Looks like this, but it comes in an orange package. So let's get rid of this guy, and I'm afraid of what's coming up next, Kate. Let's see. Okay, so we have these available. All right, they're available online. brothermobilesolutions.com. All right, or I have the electronic versions available. All right, and what this does is this basically backs up my BS. All right, let's zoom in here to about 75%. And what this talks about is the lamination process, which we just went through, as far as, you know, right here, the laminate, ding, ding, ding. And then it talks about how we build the tape down below, obviously. And then it goes into basically backing up my BS as far as our standard adhesive, our extra adhesive, our flexible ID, and our tamper evident. Right, and then it gives you a little illustrations down here of how that is to be used, right? And then it goes into the BS that I just spewed earlier, as far as scratch resistant and chemical resistant and fade resistant and UL rated and so forth and whatnot, right? On the back of this thing, it goes added to this catalog since, right? I don't think this one has. Hell, I can't read that. I don't think this has the new FLE or SLE. But anyway, the brand new catalog, you know what, just for, because let's see, does it have it? Standard adhesive, extra strength, flexible ID, extra strength, tamper evident, super narrow. No. All right. So I know on the new one, this one's from 2020. It does have those tapes available. So these are available when you're making your color selection, your size selection. If you need something like this, just reach out, if you would, please. Kate, I'm going to get rid of this, and we'll see what's next. Okay, so this is something that's also pretty helpful for the datacom low voltage folks out there. It's a nice little guide that essentially tells you what tape to use, right? If you're a newbie, or if you're new to the brother line of business and you're not familiar with the part numbers, there it is right there. It basically tells you everything you need for patch panels and for active and passive electronics and for the metals and so forth and whatnot. It's right there. So again, this is available. If you have any questions, reach out and let me know. Kate, I think the only thing left I'm going to show is going to be the BS with Todd website. But again, I'm always afraid when I red button to see what. Okay. Oh, did I get rid? Son of a. All right, Kate, you got that one? I don't know if you can see that or not. How can I get rid of this guy? All right. Streams have connection issues. All right, let's take this over here. Doggone it. All right. Well, that's not going to work. You know what? I wonder why this isn't. Kate, I'm going to try again. All right. And let me know if you can see this. Son of a gun. Am I still there? All right. I hope you can see it. I don't know. You know what? Let's do this. For some reason, it's not letting me do anything. Oh, you know what? Right here. All right, because this is kind of cool. We need to talk about this. Stop sharing and then share again. Kate's yelling at me. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing. My idea is she just got it. I'm going to share again. This is actually pretty cool. Stay tuned. So I'm going to share this, and I'm going to go over here, and we're going to share this. That's a beautiful thing about this live stuff, and the fact that I don't know what the hell I'm doing. All right, so here we go. So at bswithtodd.com, there is a ton of stuff on here. So I went to a specific section, and as you can see on the right-hand side here, all right, you can kind of narrow everything down. All right, and so what I've done is I have checked all these, and I'm going to apply up. So the beautiful thing about this, whether or not you're looking at a particular printer, right, whether you're looking at barcoding or anything you want to know labeling, it's right here. So when we scroll down, all right, you look at things like smarter, not harder. You can see right there where I talk about the FLE tape. So there's an episode on the FLE tape and how to do things a little better to save some money. All right. Then you have metal, and this is where I talk about etching, and we do have etching tape available. So again, if you're into etching or if you need that, that is available. But down there are all the tests I've done. All right. UV light resistant. All right, where I back that up. Under the sea, where I actually take some labels and I put it into a fish tank, and then I go outside and I use a pressure washer on my trash can after I put a label on there. Or what else? I run it through the car wash on the tailpipe of my truck. That's always a good one right there. To turn up the heat, all right, is where I put this in a microwave and underneath a bunch of oatmeal, all right, and then I take a torch to it, and to see the effects that it has on the tape. And there's just a ton of them. So again, if you have any questions, it's all right here. So guess what, Todd? All right, it'll answer. What are we doing here? Oh, look, there's my older brother, Sam. The grind test was a pretty good one too. All right, things like how to label a rack. All right, I think we did that live with the GoPro on there, but here's some of our new, anyway, check out www.bswithtodd.com. I'm going to stop sharing right now because we're getting close to my nap time. Literally, it's summer hours. So anyway, if you have any questions on tapes, reach out. Again, what I don't want to see and I don't want to hear of is somebody going out and using the wrong tape for the job. All right. All manufacturers, by the way, this is just not brother specific. All manufacturers have these specific tapes. All right. So again, you may be sitting back and it's too convoluted, but there's no convolutiveness. Anyway, what the hell? It's the drugs. It's not convoluted. All manufacturers do this. So again, there's just simple principles as far as the coloring of these things and the application. And if you do it right, that label's not going to come off until you physically peel it off. And we run it through a bunch of tests, basically just to back up my BS. So with that being said, it's closing in on 10:30. Although actually, is it past 10? It's 10:34. This frickin' clock. Anyway, I want to thank you very, very much. All right, Kate, can you go ahead and let's roll the credits, if you will. August 4th, the real cost of labeling. I lay it on the line. I break it down. I go into the minutia. All right, I'm breaking it down. How much does this labeling cost? A lot of these estimators, in fact, I know of an estimator that lives pretty close by. They just put it in as ancillary. They really don't care. They just come, they pull a number out of their bunghole. And that's not the case. Labeling can actually be very expensive. And if you don't do it right, or if you don't quote it right, you can lose a lot of money. All right. So I'm going to break it all down for you. The real cost of labeling. And I am going to use some examples from our competitors, not by name, but by God, you'll know them. All right. Printer Matchmaker, August 18th. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do on that, but I'm going to marry some printers. I'm going to match them. That's right. Kate, you're going to have to let me know on that one. All right. Safety labeling applications part 1. All right. We recently just got product of the year by EC&M for our safety labeling. It's a big hot topic right now. Printing on demand safety labeling is real hot right now. So we're going to talk about different applications for safety labeling. All right. And then what do you got next? You got the old barcode for us. So my YouTube channel, according to Kate, man, we've got 2,400 users now. Oh, I'm sorry. Kate says 240. I saw 24 and a 0. All right. Actually, we're growing right now. I think we're upwards of 250, and that may not seem like a lot, but you know what? This is just labeling, man. All right. So if you get the opportunity, scan that. I did a really cool barcode that I put on LinkedIn the other day. Really cool stuff. And if you're on LinkedIn right now and you see that barcode, you can also click on that one. But this will take you to my YouTube channel, and please subscribe. At the end of the day, I don't know if I'll get a runner-up or the bonus check. I don't know what the hell, but it's really good marketing out there for this show right now. We do appreciate it. As far as contacting us, you all know how to get a hold of me. I'm a hop, skip, jumping away out here in sunny and hot Southern California. There's my information. Mr. Jamie Brookover is in Virginia Beach. Mr. Dan Cobb is in Wisconsin somewhere. Mr. Bruce Page, he's out there somewhere too. Rob Dawkins, he's close to Bruce. And Craig Robinson, he's a smart one. He moved the farthest away from any of us that you can actually live. He's in Florida. So anyway, thank you very, very much. I've gone over my allotted time. Thank you very much for making this show a success, and to tuning in and to listening to me spew my BS every 2 weeks. And that's all I can say. Have yourself a great week. Please stay safe out there. All right. Please stay safe and healthy. And we'll see you in 2 weeks for matching some printers. Or no, what the hell are we doing anyway? I'll see you in 2 weeks. Thanks. I'm out.